I did it. I triggered my own reaction. I triggered my own reaction to the whole Pisces North Node thing. I spoke about it a bit in my last video, and I said in that video again that I'm going to be talking about it all for the next 18 months. Because it's going to come up, and I just watched through my own video to help me when it did, so that felt nice. Because this morning I dove into a part of myself that I've needed to confront, like an emotional part of myself that is being impacted by past stuff and is tied to a lot of these assumptions and ideas and hopes and dreams that I have for my future. And it's about love and relationship and what that looks like for me. And I noticed how deeply ingrained my desire for safety and security and my wounding around safety and security in love and what I know of love prompts me to want my experience of love to give me safety and security, and how limiting it truly is. And I don't say that to like judge myself or anyone else that desires to have love be an experience of safety and security, but I mean more to say that my wounding around not feeling safe or secure just as a person trusting another person to love them gets me to push my experiences of love to have to mirror back safety and security to me in order for me to step into them or trust them or embrace them and fall into them completely. And that in and of itself is therapy, you know? like that in and of itself is what I talk about in therapy, because that's linked to childhood, that's linked to impactful relationships, that's linked to stuff that I don't necessarily want to go undoing on here, and I don't think I need to. Might be helpful one day if I get to the end of it that I can share it, but it's a bit too fragile to share right now. But I did want to share like my confrontation with this, because it is what I want to talk about, and it is what I also want. It's what I want to share. I don't think I need to like create like a list of reasons. It's just me having to like feel justified in sharing myself because of low self-esteem? Probably. I'm also on my period today, so I am feeling like a little bit like, maybe not confident, but feeling vulnerable, I think. But yeah, I think we're all gonna have different pitfalls into this pattern, and I want to share mine. And yeah, it's fear driven, and I think I felt the need to share this because at one point in my past video, I listed a bunch of reasons, like I listed a bunch of shadow things, and I noticed that one of the ones that I didn't list was fear. Like that fear could be a thing. Like I listed it like doubt or jealousy or betrayal or like lies or secrets or like low self-esteem or low self-worth. Like all of these like different shadow aspects of the self can be the tipping point for everyone to fall into this pattern of feeling like they need to clutch at something known in order to move forward in their life. And a huge one that I missed was fear. And my fear is rooted in a lot of doubt and mistrust about what love looks like in my life. And like I said, that's rooted all the way back in childhood, and it's been mirrored in different situations of love that for one reason or another I've learned to trust leaving without, and me having no control over that, and me feeling and like so deeply in my bones feeling that lost sense of control, and then still not really knowing how I can ever heal from that, because my brain just goes to the most obvious thing, which is, oh, if you're not out of control, go into what you can control, and that is yourself and not connection with others, and certainly not connection, like trust in connection of love with another person. But I know that's not how I want to be, and I know that's not who I'm meant to be. So I've got to find a way out somewhere. And like I said, like I watched my own video, and it is that trigger of this like healing. Like I think that's also something that I didn't quite touch. I touched on the idea of everything coming back to unity and everyone coming back into unity. And as I was saying that in that past video, I was saying it with the hope that there is an understanding, or a collective understanding, that unity and being able to reach unity means healing. But I didn't quite make that clear. Because yeah, Pisces North Node is another huge part of it, is healing of wounds in order to have unity, and healing of wounds in order to see forgiveness for hurt, and healing of wounds in order to gain empathy from situations of people or situations that have hurt us, or even just gain empathy of people that may not have hurt us, but people that we just don't understand because of our own emotional blocks and everything like that. And that's what we're also being driven towards, like largely. And when you seek healing, you see your wounds. And when you see your wounds, you get triggered. And you go back into that place of that wounding, and you go, holy fuck, what do I do? What the fuck am I supposed to do with all of this? I just want to crawl back into the protective place of me that goes, I don't need to touch it. And like I said, it's not what I want to do. So I was frantically journaling because I was going into this part of me that wants to love again and wants to feel love again. And immediately my mind brought up the ways that this love had to go. Yeah. I guess like my mind had already decided a certain amount of stories that would eventuate if I decided to feel love again. All of them scary, even if they had like a positive outcome, and all of them led back to me just going, maybe it's just not a good idea. maybe I'm just doomed. And then I went down that spiral, and that's not fun. If you know, you know. The spiral of maybe I'm just doomed in love, and maybe every single time I fall in love, it'll just be ripped away from me because I'm not supposed to experience love. And that is so obviously clearly the conclusion that the universe wants me to come to. Annabelle, you're a genius. Yes, the universe wants you to close your heart forever. Go girly pop, make your cage and sit in it and starve. Eventually, I figured out, well, I think I was pretty aware that I was afraid of feeling things. And then I started to actually go into being afraid, and all the fear started coming up. And I also mentioned in my last video like about the trick and the kind of like falsehood that assumptions and ideas are. And I've also realized in this like tizzy that fear also is like a huge motivator of assumptions, and it's just as powerful. Like because there's parts of me that I think because of other circumstances I've been told that my life will go a certain way, from people outside of me, from people like my mom, from different psychics, from different feelings inside of me, and all of these things that are equally as like questionable as they are considerable, if that makes sense. And so those are the things that my ego was kind of starting out like mapping, okay, this is how this is going to go because of these things that you've been told. And then my fear started coming up with other situations that this could go because of my fear. And ego and fear are two huge voices that have very, very strong arguments and are very, very well thought out, and are very, very, like, they come from some of the deepest parts of you. So they're some of the strongest voices, and they seem like the most realistic things because of where they come from. And so I had to just, I'm looking at my journal, and I truly just caught myself in the middle of the like chaos. I then just started questioning, just being like, maybe it's this, or maybe it's this, or maybe if I did this. And I just had to be like, I can't control anything. I can't say how things will go. Not even my fear can know what's coming of life. I give weight to neither my ego nor fear, and I give weight to neither my ego nor my fear. I give weight to neither my ego nor my fear, and I give my weight to something beyond me. And I definitely still journaled for like a good 2 more pages, and I definitely still went into the tizzy and went out of the tizzy, and I had this battle of and it took me a while to be able to mediate into that Piscean openness, because even that feels scary when you're faced with your fear of, I could feel pain, I could be doomed, I could go into this thing with the most open of open hearts, and I can still feel pain, like I will still be at risk. I think is the thing that's ultimately the center of what why trust feels so scary, is that it's the biggest risk, and risk denotes fear, and fear denotes, what's that, like hesitancy or questioning. And fear often, like if there's a presence of fear, then the brain can often then go, well, that mustn't be a good thing. If there's a presence of fear, then don't go near that. But if we follow back the train, fear leads us to risk, and risk can lead us to trust, and trust can lead us to outcomes greater than anything we've ever thought in this little thing. And I guess I just wanted to give voice for how real the experience is going to be for the next bit, for probably the rest of life, obviously, but just with how I guess pronounced these particular lessons are going to be over the next 18 months of it is very easy to say that you have to trust and surrender in something greater than you, when we are all going to be people with our own sets of protection in our heads, and our own beliefs, and our own people in our lives telling us certain things, our own self telling us certain things. And to come to like a point when you're considering opening and when you're considering trusting. And then all of this like fear and doubt floods you. It is the most vulnerable thing to continue to open and go, that can all be true, might all be true, and I might just have to accept it and allow it to be true even. But knowing that it doesn't mean that anything bad is going to happen. And knowing that even if the fear says pain is coming, and even if the doubt says this isn't the right way, to go, okay, if pain comes, then pain comes. I can feel it, and I can go through it, and it's going to be okay, because I'm going to be okay, because life comes with pain. It is not simply just pain. It is joy, it is happiness, it is everything. But you can't open yourself up to the experience of anything and everything and expect it to only be good. When you do open yourself up to the experience of anything and everything, even if you have like the highest hope for it to be something good and beautiful, reality is also undeniable, and pain may be a part of everything and anything. And it sucks, especially when you've been through it, like we all have, and all we want to do is avoid that from ever happening again, because it can just feel like the worst thing ever. And I know that I felt in my journaling that trying to plan for these ways that I could see into the future, like I could just see, like I could access some part of myself that might be able to tell me that things might go this way, and it will happen this way because of this certain thing, and it'll meant to have been this way because of this certain thing, and just anything outside of anything that kept me from getting to a point of journaling that told me to just say, no, I don't know, I cannot know. And that means I cannot know the good. That means I cannot know the beautiful that is coming, because it means that I cannot know the terrible that could be coming. I cannot know anything. As much as I want to, as much as there's feelings in me that can tell me that I do. If I'm going to claim to know the beautiful, then I'm going to claim to know the scary, and then I have to bear witness to both and accept the both of them. And maybe that's the way that I can move forward. And I found myself like there. I found myself there, like accepting that, as I was just talking before, like accepting that in some dream there also is like the possibility of a nightmare, that kind of thing. But I didn't feel grounded there completely. I felt still as if I was in the guessing, like still as if even if I had chosen this one path to follow of, okay, this is what this experience of life is going to look like, and it might then come with this in tandem experience of pain, and I got there and I accepted it, and I still was like, okay, cool, like I can accept that. Then another fear just came in of, what if it's not that? And I just found myself still like battling in this maze of like having to know in order to feel that acceptance and openness. And the only thing that really felt like it like put a lid on it all was just to go, I let go of everything. Like I let go of all of that. I have to, for my sanity, for my sanity and for my security. And I'm allowed to have hope. I'm human to feel fear. But those two things, they can't show me the future. Neither of them can. Like, they can't show me a definite future. They can give me hope for the future. They can give me fear for the future. Two of which I can, there's already a lot of that happening anyway. All I can really do is sit. Like, all I can really do is sit and trust. Like, sit and trust that maybe there are little parts of me that in 2 years' time, I'm going to be able to look back and, like, look at those little seeds that are inside of my heart right now and go, you were right. That is where you were right. That's where we're going. And that's where we are now. And we've done the whole thing, and it's been a whole thing. And maybe I'll get that in, like, the future. I'll be able to validate these little seeds, but I can't take these little seeds and pick them apart and try and see what they're going to be. If they're going to be a sunflower, if they're going to be a snapdragon, if they're going to be like poison ivy, like, I don't know. Even though ivy, gorgeous, I have some there. Like, I don't know. All I know is that I have a seed inside of me, and all I know is that I have an inkling that something is coming, and all I know is I have the feeling of an intention towards an experience that's coming, and all I know is I have to embrace it. I have to embrace it without knowing what it is, and I have to embrace it knowing that anything can happen, and I have to embrace it knowing that I'm okay with anything happening. And that's not me, like, telling myself that I'm okay. It's, if I can also then look back at the library of my life, I can know that I'm okay. I've survived every single thing in my life up until this point, and I'm okay. So I'm gonna be okay. That okay might look a bunch of different ways, but I'm gonna be okay. And I do have to trust that as long as I stay grounded into myself, as long as I am my compass, and that fear isn't my compass, or delusion isn't my compass, or like avoidance isn't my compass, like, as long as just me right now, all of what I am in this moment, as long as that is my only compass, that my connection to me right now is as potent as my connection to what I believe is going on up there, around there, everywhere. I don't know, in my head there's just some kind of like channel that becomes a lot more like specific. The more of my energy that I bring in here, and the more that I just go, okay, you can't sprout this out, you can't shoot this out, you can't push yourself into this future essence of your being, because it's actually not there. It's just, that's all you guessing, and that's all you assuming. And if I just like bring back all of those threads, whether or not they're being shot out from hope or fear, if I just rein them all in and bring them into me now, and sit with, okay, I'm feeling like an experience is happening, and it's gonna happen, and it's gonna unfold in my life. I'm ready. And there's that dude, the bald guy, the bald guy that talks with his eyes shut. I don't know his actual name, but he channels a thing. An alien? I don't know. If you know, you know. Bashar? Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure I follow one on Instagram. I don't know. He says some pretty, like, he says some things that I'm kind of like, I don't know about it. And then he says some things that I'm like, yeah. One thing that he says is to, like, one of the most powerful mantras for people to have is, I am who I am, and that is enough. And that feels grounding. That mantra feels like it brings me back here. I am who I am, and that is enough in order to, for whatever is about to happen. And whoever I am right now, I need to feel and embody her as much as I can, because she is what is going to create the experience of my life, and she is who is going to be present for all of the feeling and all of the doing and all of the everything. So if I can be as much of me as I am, I'm going to be okay. Because if I be as much of me as I am, there's then that mirror of me allowing the universe to be as much of it is, and then I can co-create with it, and however I do. It's all a bunch of mystical things, and I don't really know, but I'm just trying to get myself through fear and recognize that, control gives the illusion of feeling so okay with life, or control gives the illusion that I'm gonna be okay. I think that's what I think that's what my subconscious seems to link the two, is that like, if I have control, then I'm gonna be okay, and then I can move forward. Where it's like, the illusion of control just it just spirals me into feeling not okay, and like I don't have that I'm not competent to move forward, and that I fear moving forward, because the control that comes with like analyzing and like guessing and assuming all of these little things just brings up all of these possibilities that aren't actually concrete, and so it just manifests all of this anxiety that isn't real ultimately. And ain't that Virgo? So, girly pop. Maybe it's not fear for you, maybe it's another shadow thing, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it's fear, because human beings, everyone feels it. I said a bunch of other ones in my last video, and those could all be very valid as well. I don't know, like what other stuff like motivates control? Fear, manipulation, like scarcity. I don't know. I'm trapped in my own mind, so I can't really think for others at the moment. So I think I'm just going to end it there and just say, it's real. I'm there with you. And if you can catch yourself and be vulnerable with yourself enough to open and to keep opening, and to know that opening comes with the confrontation of everything that's holding you back from being open, you're on the right track. It's not going to be easy, and that's okay. Life isn't easy. But you're going to be okay, and we're going to keep learning it. And this is all practice. Everything's practice, practice, practice. We're going to be practicing for the next 18 months. So if you don't get it now, it's okay. It's okay. We don't need to get it now. We have all of our life to practice and try and forgive and try again. Anyway, that's it. Bye. Have a good day.